Simone.
And this is Clean Ears.
Hello.
Bringing you winter vibes now.
I know,
It's
right?
not as exciting. You're just like, we're here.
Like it's cold. Today we're talking about, in this snippet, we're talking about surviving grind mode. Because it's hard out here. You know, people say, oh, just keep your head down, keep pushing, your rewards are in heaven, 323, all that. But it's
323 is what they be saying to you?
I mean, that's what I be saying myself.
Oh, okay.
But people are just like, but you're working for God, so, you know. So, but how do you survive like the physical and mental stress of like, I'm going in, I'm doing everything that I can do, and I feel like the fruit is like minimal, like
if not even there.
Yes. Then it's like, how do you keep going in the midst of that? One of the things that I do is I try to celebrate not just the fruit, but the planting.
Oh,
I know, right? If I got up and I did a thing, hey, did you do what you needed to do on social? Did you do what you needed to do with your email list? Did you do what you needed to do for like your health in the midst of this, to not neglect that? Then I'll clap for you. And I celebrate those moments and allow myself to feel good about the work that I'm doing. Because a lot of times people are like, you just gotta keep your head down and grind mode and no sleep and all that fun stuff that we just can't stand. Then it's like, it's easy to feel like, oh, I'm so focused on doing for this reward. And sometimes the reward is in the actual doing. Like, look at this work ethic, look at this discipline, look at me committing to a thing.
I love this because I get to be like super honest with you guys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like crawling through grind mode, like, and I feel like the hard part about grind mode is that it doesn't stop for a long time. Like, you don't get to coast often. And when you coast, sometimes you be going lower than you need to be when you were grinding. So the difficult thing for me is sometimes you have to be okay with not 100%. Like, as much as I would love, we are team excellence over here. We're team do it well. Like, we LL Cool J up in here. But at the same time,
is that what that song's about? Well, then we're talking about a grind.
We're talking.
Can't give us nothing.
To be serious. Okay, so the thing about it is that sometimes I have to be fine with a lower level, but still great. Like, sometimes you can't always give everything. Sometimes something else is going to get everything of you. Sometimes it's going to have to be your regular 9 to 5 that gets everything from you. Sometimes it has to be a relationship, a family member, something that's important to you at that time. And so things are going to have to shift in the zones.
Exactly.
Like, I got a top 3 of energy potentials, and
I know, like, yes, let's
I got a top 3 of energy potentials, and a lot of times me is number 1 on my energy potentials. I got issues. We can't just be having me out here just throwing all this energy at things. Like, I gotta be like, me and God gotta be number 1, because from that everything else flows. And then a lot of times between that is a personal relationship in my business, and then that moves. And so sometimes I'm able to give 100% because I know that I'm good. And so I can put like 110 into business. And then other times I'm like, yo, my family needs me. Y'all gonna get what you get, which is still great.
Yeah.
But it's not innovative. It's not me thinking of new things. It's just like, bop, 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 bop. Let's work with what we've got. Let's work with all of this genius that was used before. We're just gonna work it out. And that's why we do a lot of stuff between us. We do, like, when we have big creative moments, we have like lists and big things, and then there's moments when we're in a dry season, we're like, let's go back to when it was flowing. What was in the flowing list?
Right.
How was flowing working?
Draw from it.
Draw from that. And then from that, like this summer, we were like, what are we gonna do? Like, seriously. And then we looked at when it was flowing, we're like, we had a whole idea for a series. Let's do that. And from that series, we were blessed and were able to bless others. We got so many messages about people loving our Fruit of the Spirit series. And I'm like, wow, like, we thought about that. Get top of the year.
Yeah.
Top, or the end of last year, real talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, God really let that marinate till when it was needed during the summer. And so now when we're coming back into a creative time, I'm like, thank God for that, because I know that some point in 2020 or even 2021, we might look back and go, we need to do that. God's definitely calling us to do that thing that we thought about 2 years ago now.
Yes. I read this book called The Four Agreements, not a Christian book.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And one of the agreements, and this gave me so much release, which is why I'm sharing it. One of the agreements is always do your best.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were talking, it reminded me that when I read this particular part of the book, I was like, oh, yes. Mm-hmm. And what they were saying is, always do your best, but understand that your best is going to look different on different days.
Mm-hmm.
And so my best on one particular day may be like super peak mode. And I'm doing all of the things. And I'm cooking a bomb meal. And then I was like, I'm going to do my hair. And then I did this. And then I did that. And all that stuff. Exactly. But on another day, my best may be, I woke up, I made my bed, I proceeded to then lay on the sofa. I remained a vegan. I did not upset anybody, and I committed 0 crimes. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it'll be a day where it's like, I did the least, but I hit the points that I needed to hit. And sometimes my best is just that. And sometimes, to not have us, toggling between two extremes. Sometimes my best is that I gave my 9 to 5 everything, and I didn't have as much left for clean ears, but I made sure that a deadline didn't slip and that content went up when it was supposed to. And even though I didn't get a chance to brainstorm something new or finally sift through that idea that I've been wanting to get back to, at least I did the thing that I needed to do to keep us going for the things that we've committed to do. And that's my best for the day. Mm-hmm. And reading that agreement gave me a lot of release to not feel like I needed to be peak me every single day. And that if I wasn't being peak me, it was reading in my mind as failure. Mm-hmm. And having that agreement to go back to just reminded me that, hey, this is just your best for today. You're still awesome. You're still doing great. On the days that you can do more, that's amazing too. But on the days that you don't feel like you have it within you to do more, or you have to split that more between 2 different places, celebrate that too. You are still doing your best, even if you can't do everything. And those are 2 very different things.
Yeah, I think mine, these are 2, but they kind of go together in my mind, is being okay with failure and keeping everything in perspective.
Yes.
There have been high highs and there have been low lows just this year. But in all actuality, we've tried a lot of things, and some of them have failed. Some of them y'all never see. Some things you have seen and never seen it, will never see again. There's just been there are just moments where we're just like trying things, and as much as we are okay with failure in certain aspects, when something else fails that you thought was really gonna like ride and kill and it doesn't work, and you're just like, so what do I do now? Because everything that I thought I knew about what I was doing ain't working. And in those moments, you go to the people who know you well, you go to your accountability and be like, feeling like quitting, bruh. It's feeling like failure. It's feeling like things aren't working out, and they can really just speak into you, remind you of your purpose, remind you of your calling. All of those things that are definitely necessary. Sometimes you just gotta sit in it and be frustrated for a little bit and just be like, things ain't working. And and I find in those moments, He really does call me back to Him in those frustrating times, because He's like, why are you frustrated? What did you think was gonna happen? Is that of me that you thought was gonna happen, or do you think out of the movement of your heart that it was gonna happen? And just because the thing that you thought was gonna happen didn't happen doesn't mean it failed. It just means it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Like, so many of that happens, and that's what I mean by keeping it in perspective and just kind of dividing things out into where it actually makes sense, and not just saying that everything I touch goes wrong. But there's a reason why we had grades A, B, C, D, F. And everything's not an F just because you didn't get an A.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a B or a C. I don't know what those are. I got A's. So that's why I'm just like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I think that it is humbling, but also really refreshing to be reminded of what you don't know. And trust me, it's more, when I say humbling, I mean like the part of the definition that's where it's like, this has taken me down. Lower.
Humble.
Not humble. Yes, not humbling. Really cute. Thank you for letting me know I'll move forward and be best. No, that's not what we talk about. We talk about that. Ugh.
This is Kendrick humble. Be humble.
Yes.
Sit down.
No.
You thought you were, but you're not. Yes. That's what
This was that. Hold up. That's that. It can be very humbling, and that sometimes sitting with that, you can end up experiencing a world of emotion, because it's like, I didn't know this. I've been walking in this for so long and I've been wrong, or not necessarily doing something that I felt like I should. And it's hard, because then you're like, has the world just been seeing this, and have all of my efforts been in vain? Have people been like, you'd be killing it if you would only, why didn't anybody else tell me sooner? How could I have gotten this knowledge? How did I miss this? What else am I doing wrong? It's a spiral, guys. It is. But I've learned to just say, okay, now that I know, what can I change? And I can't fault myself for what I don't know, because we're in this generation where there's a lot of social media businesses. Like, there are a lot of social media businesses, and there are a lot of influencers and things like that. And everybody wants to give you the formula, but the thing is, they're giving you the formula that worked for them. And it's not necessarily tried and true and across the board, and this will just work for everyone, even though there are some basic standard things. And so we're all learning this together. And I can't allow myself to be defeated by the fact that I tried something and it was like, oh, that wasn't it. I've learned, as hard as it is, I still have my moment. I wallow for a little bit now. Just, okay, I did.
I'm team wallow.
I gotta pull up on a wallow sometimes. But, it's a drive through. It's not a don't say the night.
Someday I'll share my pity party song with y'all. It's a vibe.
Okay. You know what? As someone who's attended a real life pity party, it, first of all, very cathartic. So I'm here for being like, dang, feel the frustration and the sadness and do what you need to do. Sit in those feelings in a safe space, and then feel like, okay, now that I've learned something different, or now that I know differently, what can I do differently? And I think that's what helps you to move forward in the grind, because you're like, this is kind of a clean slate in this area. And a clean slate just means like, all right, let's rebuild. So that developing a process for like feeling defeated, but then also moving forward, has also helped me to stay in it longer. Because back then the defeats need to be like, it's bye forever.
Right.
Goodbye forever, guys.
Goodbye forever. I quit all of this.
End of this venture.
Goodbye.
You will now see me doing this. As opposed to now being like, no, we're going to stay the course here.
Oh, so hard. It's so hard.
It is, though. I think that's about it in terms of how I don't quit.
Absolutely, because we're still very much learning and working on this. I just stopped quitting stuff, so.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. And I think that having something that you do, like for me, working out, I always remember I applied that same, you can do it, to other things. I go in the gym, sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail, all the time I struggle. And so having that mentality of, this doesn't have to be easy for you to get it done. Or, and I'll still be like, I'll tell my trainer at the end of a workout, like, man, I hated all of that. Or I'll be like, that was really, really hard, but I like the stuff we did. And developing a dialogue, using my words when it comes to this stuff, has helped me to be like, I'm okay. And as long as I remain to be okay, as long as I continue to be okay in this, then it's like, okay, I can keep going. So if you're liking this video, guys, be sure to actually physically like it and subscribe, hit the bell, get these notifications when these videos drop so we can cry together, guys.
And if you're listening on the podcast, subscribe, share, drop us a review. Let us know if you're feeling this, if you want more of this type of content. We do this purely because we know we have an audience.
Yes.
And if we hear from you every once in a while, it'd be great.
Yes, that would be so, so awesome. So until next time,
Have a good time.
bye.